man. Yes. Hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and we are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. Now, Season 2 of the Emmy-nominated and Peabody Award-winning true crime satire, American Vandal, has been out for a minute now. And if you're like me, you've already watched the whole thing. Maybe even twice. Now, for the faint of heart and weak stomach, yes, I will admit episodes 1 and 2 are a little intense. It is, after all, the turd burglar we're talking about here. But if you make it to episode 3, you get to meet one of the greatest characters on television this year, DeMarcus Tillman. With his signature move, the violin, and his revelation on dolphins, I defy you to find a single second of this performance that isn't perfect, man. Here to tell us all about Season 2, ladies and gentlemen, DeMarcus Tillman himself, the great Melvin Gregg is in the house. How about that? How we feel about Melvin, huh? How we feel about Melvin. So excited, man. We're going to get him out here in just a second. But first, as is tradition here on Build, I believe we have a trailer. So let's go ahead and run that clip.
Monday, November 6th.
It was really just a normal day. I don't know how else to describe it.
It was Chicken Finger Monday.
Those things are damn good.
Early into that lunch, I knew something was off.
It didn't really hit me right away. And then it really hit me.
The lemonade was contaminated.
911. All of our students, they're all pooping.
Most of us just shit our pants right in front of everyone.
People were just trying to find a place where they could shit.
This was the worst thing I've seen in 20 years.
Before it was all over, it had a name. The Brownout.
In April of 2016, Sam Ecklund and I began shooting American Vandal. The response has been incredible. But with all this attention came a lot of pressure on what kind of a case to take on next.
I'm contacting you because we have a Vandal. He goes by the name The Turd Burglar. I look at my phone and I got tagged in a video.
This guy wanted an audience.
He was taunting us.
Milk, lemonade, around the corner, 2 emojis made.
The Turd Burglar was a different animal. Who could have had a motive, and who could be a suspect?
What if the motive is just poop is funny?
Poop is funny.
It's poop, but it goes a lot deeper than that.
Who is the Turd Burglar?
Ladies and gentlemen, make a crazy amount of noise, Mr. Melvin Gregg. Right here. Damn. All right, we're going to get deep into this show, man, and talk all about it in a little bit. Congratulations, honestly.
Thank you.
Your performance, as I said in my intro, and I stand by, you give us one of the greatest characters on TV this year, man. It's amazing.
I appreciate it.
Dude, he's fantastic. So we're going to get into that in a second. But first and foremost, as I love to start all of my talks here, we get a little bit of time on Build, so I like to begin very simply. Just, how the hell are you, man? How's Melvin doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing all right, man. We're excited that you're here. Excited to talk about this show.
Happy to be here. This setup is crazy. I love it.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. How's life been? You know, it came out, was it the 14th, I want to say. So it's been out in the wild now. Mm-hmm. People have been responding to it. People are really into it. You're getting a lot of praise for this role, rightfully so. How's it been for you on that side, being on the receiving end of all that love?
It's cool, man. I feel like I engaged the audience that I typically didn't engage before. You know, I see dump truck guys like, hey, I love American Vandal. I'm like, yeah, that's ironic. But nah, it's cool. People really like the show. It's well received. I like reading reviews. I just want to, I like to hear the critical, response from people like that who really pick things apart, and they seem to really like this show. And I feel like this show's a lot deeper than just poop jokes. Like when you get into the season, it goes into, pulling apart stereotypes of like different high school norms, and then just like with this generation and how crazy social media is and the effect that it has on, kids of this generation. I guess you were not even millennial. What's that, Z generation? So, it gets deep into that stuff, man. It gets deep.
It does, and it's crazy because that's one of the things that I loved about it too. Is that yes, once you get past all the poop jokes, there's great character work, there's great story going on, and that's what the American Vandal team, like here we are 2 seasons now, they're so great at is taking this ridiculous framework, but one, treating it with like the utmost respect and seriousness, and then folding in these real stories and exploring these real things. It's crazy to me. It's 2018, and we're only just now starting starting to see stuff that honestly tackles how social media really affects kids' lives and our lives and what it's been like. Is that something that drew you to this project when you saw that that was a part of this story, the idea to explore any of that, or is that something you found later once you got on board?
I didn't know. A lot of this stuff I really didn't know until after the show came out, because the way the show worked, a lot of this stuff they create while they're on set, and a lot of the stuff is in post-production too, because if you look at it, it's a real post-production driven show, because you're putting all the talking heads together, you're putting all the cutaways, you're getting these different shots, these different voiceovers that kind of narrate the whole story. So you really don't know what it's going to be until it is what it is. And I had no clue, but I was pleasantly surprised.
So what does that look like then in the moment when you are like trying to give them good stuff and trying to give them a DeMarcus Tillman performance and create that character? What kind of direction are they giving you if you know half of this might not even make it? So I've just got to do something that they can work with later. What's going on in your head?
It was real interesting. For me, I just wanted to understand the character, and I wanted to make the most realistic teenage character, you know, that I could come up with that was true to who he was and where he was from. Because I see a lot of stuff on TV, and it's kind of like, it just seemed like it was composed, like it was put together, opposed to just being an organic, natural human person who says things that don't always make sense, don't always drive the story, but is real. So I kind of put together who I wanted DeMarcus to be. And when I got on set, it was such a collaborative experience. Like any suggestions I had, it was open to hearing it, because, you know, they trusted me to become this character and create the character. So, you know, when I was there, I was DeMarcus, and I fit into that world. And even though, you know, the poop pranks might sound crazy to him, it was serious, because, you know, him being a top basketball player, potentially going to college, something like that could affect, you know, him being given a scholarship to go to college. So he had to really take it serious. And I think that's where the comedy came from, with how serious he took the situation, and then just his view and scope on just different topics was kind of out of this world, but still grounded and made sense to him.
Is that, like, looking at it through that lens, does that help you guys keep from cracking up when you're doing some of these talking head moments? There's this one line, I think it was, "I look down on people with love," was like one of the lines that DeMarcus had. And it's just like you deliver it without a hint of irony or self-awareness. It's so perfect, and I just imagine, especially if they're doing a lot in the moment and asking you guys to kind of ad-lib and create a lot of dialogue here and there, was it hard to not break because of the silliness of the topic? Like, how'd you stay focused?
It wasn't hard at all. The other actors, they play everything 100% serious. Mm-hmm. Like Tyler, when he was asking me these questions, he was dead serious, like a journalist. So my response, like, it wouldn't even make sense for me to laugh, because he's seriously asking me these questions. So I took it serious with my responses. And it's so funny that one line, I didn't realize what it was when I did it. We shot stuff out of order. So my first scene was the last episode. So I had an understanding of where the character was going. And we were just talking, and like we were doing the scene, and they had asked me a question like, how do you see, you know, how do you feel about your classmates? And it was improv. I was just like, I looked down at them, but with love. And it sounded funny because it was a play on words, you know, look down at people, but with love. I thought it was funny, but they was like, yo, that's great. It's playing into everything. But I really didn't understand how strongly it was going to play into my character arc and to the end. And I was like, wow, the way y'all put that together is crazy.
Yeah, because that's the beauty of that line. It's not just a funny line, but like once you get the full picture of DeMarcus's whole story, like that line works on so many different levels. It's really fascinating that they kind of fold that in after the fact. You mentioned this backstage, and I think I saw this elsewhere as well. You didn't find out until a little deeper into it that the poop was even part of the story, that that was going to be it. What was your reaction when you realized that was the crime in question this year?
Honestly, I was a little I didn't know. I wasn't 100% confident, like, oh, man, this is about to be about poop jokes. This is about to go crazy.
Said nobody ever. Exactly.
Yeah, nobody ever. And I have friends who's like, yo, I hope this is good. I don't know how many poop jokes I can sit through. So I knew I was kind of worried about that, too, just because it's something so, like, not vulgar, but when you hear it, you smell it, and you see it, and it's like, you know, but they did it brilliantly. Like, you know, they set it up with that. It draws your attention, but then it goes deeper. Yeah. And
Yeah, that's just
what
it.
it is.
And that's what I was saying in the intro. Like, yes, in the beginning when they set it up, if that's not your thing, it's a little rough, but the payoff is so worth it. And like, if there was ever a team to pull it off, man,
right?
Like they really do, and they almost elevate the poop joke. Like it's next level. It has meaning.
They raised the bar.
Yeah, they raised the bar. Yeah,
they raised the bar. Those tenses throw me sometimes. They raised the bar of poop jokes to like a height that I don't think anybody could really surpass. And I feel like it's just a testament to that genius. Oh, I've just figured out how to work this. I think it's a testament to that genius to get something so immature as poop jokes and make something meaningful of it, you know, and make you maybe tear up or care for a character with poop jokes, opposed to like, you know, if my grandma was dying of terminal cancer, it's easy to make somebody cry. But when it's with poop jokes and they draw you in, I think it's like an exercise to see how good they are.
Exactly.
Like, all right, almost do it with poop jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it with penis jokes.
That was just it, right? Season 1 was like, well, we did it with dick jokes, right? Yeah. So it's like they almost dared themselves. Like, what else can we make work? Like, what's the next low bar that we can bring up and elevate, right? Yeah. I'm so fascinated by kind of like your journey to this point too, man. Like I was reading about it and I didn't realize this. So like, yes, you found a lot of your following and a lot of your fame through social, but like you didn't necessarily set out to you moved to LA, as I was reading, just to be an actor, right? And you kind of turned to social out of necessity. Is that how it played out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what was that moment like? Why did you end up going to social media to try and find your own path and create your own destiny?
I don't know the exact like statistic, but it's something like 20,000 or 40,000 people coming to LA every month, and like 30,000 of them end up going back home, and they all chasing a dream, man. Yeah. You know, entertainment is like a profession with no gateway. Like at the NBA, if you ain't playing in high school or college, it's kind of like, you know, it's over for you. You can't just go be a LeBron, but there's no gate like that with acting, so anybody could hop up and be like, oh, I want to be the next Denzel. I'm 68 years old. Let me go to Hollywood. So it's so many people that are so saturated with people chasing their dreams that it's kind of impossible to get an opportunity unless you're really lucky. And I don't want to, like, you know, base my luck. And I mean, I don't want to base my life and my dreams on luck. So, yeah, I was just trying to figure out a way to kind of gain leverage. So I saw social media, and I was like, okay, through social media, I could potentially make money if it work out. That'll free me up to be able to go to auditions, but also I could gain a following, which could be leverage, so I'm more valuable to any type of production because I could bring in an audience. Yeah. And one thing I really didn't realize, but I really appreciate now, that as an actor, as a creative, I learned a lot because I edited all of my content myself. So I got thousands of hours of footage of myself that I edited, so I know all my tweaks, and you know I know all the things that I do that I don't like, and that I do like. It's like watching game footage, right? Like a post-game footage, like seeing how you play and perform in that moment, and you've got all that. It was just subconsciously almost, because you were just doing it to get the job done. But now here you are, you've been able to observe yourself. I'm editing hours, like locked in, looking at myself, like tired of looking at myself. But I you know, it's like looking at game footage, and I didn't realize that at the time, but a lot of actors really don't have that luxury. So that's just something I got through social media. And you know, after doing that for a few years, I'm like, okay, it's time to use all of these tools that I've gotten, the following, and just the creative, you know, outlook now, to, you know, pursue traditional. When it came to building that following, were there things that you were actively doing, like, all right, if I don't do this every day, I'm not going to get it? Or was it a matter of just, I'm going to make great content and wait for the people to find it? Like, how did that work? Later on, it was that once I had a following, I was like, okay, I'm going to just create dope content, and if they find it, they find it. If not, I really don't care. But early on, it wasn't that. You got to get the audience first. Yeah. So I just knew it was about consistency and continue to stay in front of the curve and find out what works for me. So, I mean, for the first 2 years, I was lucky enough to have an amazing troop of friends who we all created content on a daily basis. We posted a video every day for 2 years minimum. And like the bar that we set for ourselves was so crazy. Like we were the top, you know, Viners, creators in the world. And we would be arguing within our group chat over the top spots. Like, yo, I'm 1. Oh, I'm about to post. I'm going to bump you down to 3. And we're talking like amongst each other in the group chat, 1, 2, 3, 4 spot and top video, but not realizing it's 1, 2, 3, 4 top spot in the world. Like we would post a video, if it didn't have 100,000 likes in the first day, we'll call it a delete, and we'll delete the video and try to post something else. Like, okay, we could tell after like the first 10 minutes how well the video would do, and if it's not doing well, delete it. find something else to post, and just post every day for this time.
Wow. Did you ever stress out, like, or was it just you were too in the zone? You were like, didn't work, got to keep moving. Can't get upset over it. Got to just make something else and put it up now. Like
you kind of get numb to the numbers because they're just numbers at that point. You're not realizing that people was like, okay, I got 1 million, but I'm only getting 8,000 followers a day. I need to get 15 in order to hit, this amount of followers per month to hit this amount per year. So you're just looking at numbers, and it's definitely stressful. I see times where I don't have a good video up, and my whole day will just kind of be like blah. Or I have an amazing video up, and I'm just like smiling throughout the day. So it definitely could be stressful on the side of the creatives. And then I really didn't deal with it, but like falling off. Like say if you're at the peak at one point, now what you're doing don't really people don't respond to it the same, and now your numbers not being the same. That's really stressful. I've seen people lose weight and just kind of really trip out through social media. So it really gets deep, and I feel like the show kind of it mirrors that. It does.
It does start to mirror it, and that was another thing that I heard that I thought was interesting, is that your personal high school experience really wasn't like this. And in fact, what you ended up referencing was that time in your life when you started getting famous, when you started getting all those big numbers, and that's kind of what you looked back on. How long did it take you to sort of find that, and have you been able to use this role to kind of work through some stuff that you had unresolved from that period of your life?
Luckily, I was a little older when I found social media and I started doing it, so I was at a different level of maturity. So things didn't affect me as much as they would have if I would have been 16 or 17. I was able to relate and empathize with DeMarcus Tillman because, people looked at him differently and they gave him too much. He got to fame before he had really established anything that was, I guess, career-worthy. He's still in high school. And it's the same thing with social media. You get the fame before you really establish something that's going to be around for a while. So I related to him with that. But as far as high school, I wasn't a basketball star. I wasn't, the cool guy. I slept. I played tennis. I wrestled. You know what I mean? I was definitely not him, but I was able to relate to how he felt based on things that went through social media. But it was nothing that was really unresolved with me. I'm real conscious of myself and things around, and I'm always actively trying to become better and troubleshoot things that's going on in my life. So I was in a good space by the time I did it.
We get a chance. I get a chance to talk to a lot of different creators on here, and one of the things that we always talk about is how years ago you made the jump from TV to film. That was a wall there. It was you didn't necessarily do that, and if you did, you were doing something right. And nowadays it's people make the jump from social media to traditional media. It's kind of the equivalent now. With all the followers you had and all the success and all the doors, I imagine being big on social opened for you, have you still found it challenging, or people that don't take you seriously as an actor yet and you have to still prove yourself even though you've already done all this hard work?
Right. I do have to prove myself when I go in a room. I have to win the role over myself. My followers, they're not going to do it for me. A studio, they'll hire the actor they want, and they'll hire you as an influencer to promote it. So they're not going to necessarily hire you as an actor so you could promote the film. But I mean, it's rightfully so. I feel like everybody have to earn it. They have to earn the position they do, and I earn my position online. But social media influencers is a very broad umbrella. It's people that do pranks, it's people that vlog, it's people that do cooking shows. There's so many different things that you could do, and that doesn't always translate to traditional media. A lot of that isn't acting. So to get someone who daily vlogs and expect them to be an actor is kind of hard. So when you're considered a social media influencer, that engulfs all of those things. So a director's gonna be like, all right, so what do they do? They don't mean they act. Can they act? And I feel like it's unfair to expect social media people to make the jump to traditional, because I feel like it's different. They may run parallel. Social media celebrities that make more money than, actors that are successful. And it's okay, they're running that lane, they're successful there. They necessarily don't have to cross over. They can continue to be famous, continue to make money over here, and they can continue to do this thing in the traditionals too. I feel like only the people that really want to are going to be successful and going to do it.
Well, it's interesting too to even make up that point that like you don't have to make the jump. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We're just so used to it being a certain way, and everything about this is different. That's why here we are, 2018. We're only just now getting media that understands how social media works, and we're seeing shows like this one. I mean, talk about proving yourself, dude. Like I said, this character, your work in this show is friggin' amazing, man. It's a lot to be proud of, and I thank you for being here. We're gonna do some audience questions before we wrap things up. I see we got a signal. Got a couple out there. Look for the microphone. First one's right here.
Hi. I was wondering, either if it was, when did you know that you wanted to play this character? Like, was it when you first read the script, or when talking with like the producers, other writers and directors? At what point did you know like you wanted this part?
I didn't necessarily know who the character was early on. I just knew of the season 1. I saw the show and I just loved the format of comedy. I love grounded comedy, no matter how ridiculous the situation. They had did that brilliantly in season 1, and I seen that they had Jimmy Tatro, who had came from a digital position, and he absolutely killed it. So I'm like, wow, this is dope. If I could be a part of this, that'd be amazing. And when I got the part, I really didn't even know what the project was. All I had was the audition sides. But when I was reading the audition sides, I'm like, this is really good because the writing was so spot on. It's kind of hard a lot of the times for me to get writing that makes sense for like, an urban character, a young urban character. A lot of the times it's real cliche. But this stuff is just like, it felt like a teenager wrote it. So I'm like, yo, this is really good. So I just saw that as kind of a preface to what the show could be.
It is so grounded in reality, like so much so that everybody that watches this show, if it's not you or something, there's at least one character on this show where they go, I had a guy just like that in high school, or I was that guy in high school. Like, it's so crazy how great they are at finding these like highly specific characters that they place into this world. How many we got left? We're gonna do one more. All right, let me find microphone. Hey, there you are. Come on down. Right here.
Hey. So you talked a little bit about like adding, I guess, like a human layer to your character, which I'm studying screenwriting now, and I think that's something super important. So I want to have you like kind of expand on that. Like, how much did you add? How did you go about doing that? Like talking with the director. Yeah.
I think the thing for me as an actor and like researching and preparing for a character, everyone's a star in their own world. But this might not be your movie. Like if we was doing a movie for you, you would be the star. But if this is his movie, you'll play a part in it, but you're still a star. I think a lot of people approach a project depending on like where they are in the hierarchy of the film. Like, okay, I'm a supporting character, so I come in, I need these moments to shine. But it's not that. So I created DeMarcus as if the movie was the DeMarcus show, and how would he approach these guys coming to his school, because he didn't see a script. You know what I mean? He's gonna act like this is his show, and if he rightfully so wants the show, he's gonna try to claim it. And who is he? He's a basketball player. Okay, so he's used to the attention around him, but he's gonna use this opportunity to try to be charismatic, or try to crack jokes. And okay, what's his position in the school? Is that going to translate on camera? And it's just a lot of different things of understanding who he is. But I would just say, as a screenwriter, just approach each character as if it's their movie.
Really good advice. Thank you.
No problem.
Really good. Where did you like figure out your process and learn to break down a character and find that perspective through your years of creating content and working with other content creators? Or how did you arrive at being able, like, how did you show up on day one for this with all of those skills? Where did all that come from? I know that's a big question to go out on, but I'm curious because you really do, like, you get really cerebral, man. You get in there and you think about all these different perspectives. I'm just wondering, like, where that comes from and where you figured all that out.
I've always been really strategic because I've always been an observer. Like when I was young, I was smaller, so I wasn't really active with a lot of sports at the time. Like I was 5'6" when I graduated, so I just observed everything and kind of broke things down all the time. And that's how I taught myself. Like that's how I learned comedy, because I was never the funny guy. I saw what was working on Vine, and I pretty much reverse engineered it and kind of taught myself the format of comedy. And I think I try to do the same thing with me as an actor. I see what works. I see what don't work. I see what makes me feel comfortable on camera. If I just do the lines and I can't remember what happened, and I just felt like, okay, that was true. And even if it's not the best choice I could have made, you can't look at my character and say that wasn't real. That was acting, because it was real to me at the moment. And in life, we don't always make the best decisions, but we make the true decisions. We make true decisions. So, and myself, whatever I could do to make myself feel as comfortable as possible on camera and not be conscious of the lines before, after, or doing the lines, that's what works for me. But yeah, just through times of doing it and social media, I've so many hours of doing it. I become more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it becomes second nature. You do it so many different times.
Right.
You put in the 10,000 hours. Dude, I can't say it enough. Congratulations, man.
Thank you
It's
so much, man.
so cool. This show, the season 1 was huge. Season 2 is even bigger and better, man. And you're a big part of it being better. And it's so much fun watching it. And I'm so excited for what are you doing next? What are you working on right now other than talking about this? What's coming up?
I'm always continually working on my stuff, developing content. Outside of developing content for a digital platform, I'm developing stuff for TV and film as well. I have a film called High Flying Bird, comes out on Netflix top of the year, directed by Oscar winners Steven Soderbergh, Terrell McCraney, who wrote Moonlight, another Oscar winner. He wrote it. Andre Hollins, the lead, myself, and Zazie Beetz from Deadpool in Atlanta. So that's dropping top of the year. I have a new project. I can't say too much about it, but I start shooting that at the end of the month. So just continue to move forward, build on my brand, and try to create dope content.
That is amazing, man. All right, well, everybody, you already know it's out there. It's on Netflix. American Vandal season 2. You got to check it out. Keep an eye out for that other movie. You said that's on Netflix as well.
High Flying Bird, top of the year.
Bird, top of the year is coming out, and then apparently some secret thing that we can't hear about yet.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep an eye. We know where to find you. All right, everybody, thank you. I hope you had a good time with us,
I had
man.
an amazing time, man.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you for your wonderful questions. Put your hands together, guys, and join me in thanking a great Melvin Gregg, everybody. It's Melvin Gregg.